What is happening, guys? Martin Martinez back again. Welcome back to Ask Martinez. In today's video, we are talking about luxury. If this is something that resonates with you, please do not forget to comment, like, subscribe, or at least give the channel a thumbs up. I know you guys, a lot of you aren't subscribers, but hey, if you're watching it, why not at least give it a thumbs up? It costs nothing. So, in regards to today's particular scenario, today's particular video, we are talking about luxury and luxury items. And for the purpose of this particular video, we are talking about luxury in the sense of non-essential items. So something that you spent a little bit more money on, let's say for instance, but it's not something you need for your day-to-day. So we could talk about cars, clothes, jewelry, luxury shoes, luxury bags and so forth, things of that nature. So ultimately, the problem I'd want to say with luxury, and again, this is something that I'd like you guys to be interactive with and give your comments as well. Have you found with luxury items that at the end of the day, you find yourself in a position, and again, we talk about lifestyle creep and different things that can happen. You can find yourself in a position where your perception of what you deem as luxury obviously will change as it goes. Now, don't get me wrong. The concept of luxury when you're 6 years old is not going to be the same concept of luxury when you're in your 50s. But if you're in a scenario where, you've made a little bit of money, you kind of feel like you're doing okay, and then you decide, actually, I'm going to purchase something as a treat or as a one-off, to make you feel maybe more inspired, to maybe make you feel like you want to, I don't know, have some type of inspiration to get to the next level, depending on where you are and what's going on in your life. Maybe there's something that's happened that's been like a fortunate scenario in your life, and you say you want to treat yourself. So with these things in mind, that's understandable. Things do change as human beings. I think our goal is always to want more and always to drive for more. We usually don't want to stay stagnant and stay still. That's not what it's about. That's not the whole point of living your life. So in regards to particularly luxury items, the only question I have for you is, where does it get to a point, and this is me thinking out loud, where does it get to a point when you've kind of gone too far or done too much? If you're putting yourself in debt for luxury items, does that mean obviously that, you're at a point now where you've realized and said to yourself, you know what, I think I can step away now, that's enough? Or is this a problem where it's becoming like an addiction? Now, one thing I've noticed with luxury items is my particular perception of it ultimately, as I say, will change, but I kind of feel that more so now than before. There is not actually a luxury scenario. There is no luxury item as such. You could have spent X amount of money on something, but people now are buying these sort of clones when it comes to watches and clothes and everything else like that. Yes, it could be quote unquote fake, but if it's kind of the same thing, I mean, I don't know if you buy fakes and sort of whatever else or replicas, but if it's kind of the same thing, this whole sort of perception of luxury, what is the actual luxury aspect? And that's my question. Is it the purchase aspect? Is it to go into the store and smelling the different fragrances they have in the store and the scents and different things you pick up, or is it the fact that you've purchased something online? Do you still feel like the item is as luxury when you purchase it online compared to actually going to the store? Possibly not. The customer experience you get is also part and parcel of what this luxury aspect is. You take your time, you go there, you walk around, you got some coffee, you enjoying your day. Is this the same as it is when you just say you purchase it online? Now, again, we've talked about previous videos, we've talked about overspending, we've talked a little bit about addiction as well to purchasing these particular type of products. And my question is, again, I'm just going to give you an example now. So we've got this company, again, some of you will know it, some of you won't, Loro Piana. And again, they've got these sort of warm summer walking sort of sandals, sort of boots, and they're coming at like £840. But I know realistically you could go to Clarks and get something, let's say at the most £100, and it's kind of borderline the same thing. Or is it not? And when it comes to luxury, we're paying pretty much for the brand itself rather than the clothing itself, the item that we're purchasing, or is it just the perception? Ultimately, is it marketing that we're purchasing into rather than the actual thing itself? Is there a name to sort of say, well, I've purchased this, I'm somehow better than this other person? Or is it more just a scenario of, well, I've purchased this because I want to feel in myself that I've achieved something at this moment in time, I've purchased it, and I want that memory of purchasing and spend this amount of money because I'm going to cherish it more. So the problem I think that people can find, and this is what can probably happen, is that we consume a number of these items. We never really stop and recognize what we've purchased and continue to try and get to the next one. You'll see something that somebody else is wearing. I see a lot of people now wearing these Cartier bracelets, Cartier ring, is it the love ring, love bracelet, whatever it might be, £5,000 a bracelet, £1,000 a ring. I've looked at it and said to myself, maybe one day I'll get one of those. But realistically, why am I purchasing this? And this is the question that I'm asking myself, I'm asking you as well. Why is there a need or a feeling that I want to purchase this? It's because, again, I've seen somebody else wearing it. Outside of that, I probably wouldn't even have known anything about it. Again, it comes back to social media. I'm pretty confident it comes back to social media. But the problem, again, I'm going to say, I think with luxury items is, where does it end and what is actually luxury at this point in time compared to back in the day? Let's say when, when it was so difficult to source things, we're talking, years ago, hundreds of years ago, whereas now, because things are so accessible, there's not really a need for quote unquote luxury items as such. But at the same time, what I'm aware of is people who have money and have want to have some type of status, some type of grandeur, will always want to have some form of distinguishing point about them. And again, we express that in our clothes, not even from a peacock who's displaying their feathers. We kind of do the same thing when it comes to our clothes. So my question is, this need for luxury, is it a human nature thing that we always want to pursue more and have a perception about ourselves? Is this all ego, or is it more to do with a scenario of, well, I kind of need that item for maybe what I'm doing and what I'm working in. I'm working in this particular field. If I don't perceive myself in a certain way, then my client's going to perceive myself a certain way. So many things to think about. But I kind of think it's a bit of a conundrum. The luxury point to me is not really something that really exists. I'm seeing more so now. Again, don't get me wrong. If we're talking about technology, we're talking about access to certain type of things. If you're driving a car that's got a certain speed and so forth, and it's got certain aspects to it, that's slightly different. But keeping it just more to the day-to-day mundane things, where it's clothes, jewelry, and things of that nature, is there really a need for this anymore? Again, people are going to choose to purchase it because they feel better about themselves, or they're just trying to impress other people. Is it social media that's driving this push to make us want to purchase luxury items? Bear in mind, again, there's an element of addiction as well. The more about this, the more I'll probably feel better about myself compared to how I felt before. But that being said, you go and you buy it, and you probably even feel worse off because you spent the money, you've sat down and you looked at it and said, actually, I've been got, and it's really a marketing ploy. The people who are millionaires that I know, realistically, you won't even necessarily even know who they are, and you won't necessarily know anything about them because they're not wearing necessarily luxury items. So with that being said, quite a few things to consider. Do we really need luxury items? Or is it just all a bit of a game? It's all a hustle and it's just all marketing. So guys, leave your comments down below. Let me know your thoughts and I'll see you next video. Peace.